Hello, Internet people. It's your good friend Gluglor. I just finished gridding off a new Perler bead project, as you might have guessed. This is Undyne from Undertale. The one new thing that I did for this project that I haven't done with another one is that the spear for this project actually has glow-in-the-dark beads. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to make the spear all glowy like it is in the game. But yeah, I probably used around 2,000 to 3,000 white and 2,000 to 3,000 black beads for this one. I know it might not look like it, but when you get in close, you can see that it's actually a lot of beads. Not as big as like Asgore. He was a big boy, but still pretty big. About as big as the papyrus one that I did a while ago. So about medium size for me. Anyway, I'm gonna start taping all of this up, taping up this fish, and then gonna be ironing it and then gluing it down on my canvas. You see my other videos, you know the drill.
Undyne, you are so fine, Undyne. You will be mine, Undyne, till the end of time, Undyne, Undyne.
Alright, so I just finished taping up Undyne, giving her a good pat down to make sure that all the tape is stuck to all the beads, so none of them fall out when I do this flipping trick. So I'm going to take another foam board that I placed underneath Undyne and put it on top here. And again, the scariest part of any project, flipping her over to make sure that none of the beads fall out as well. I really only get one shot at this. So 3, 2, 1. I don't think I heard any beads drop. And that is wonderful. Oh yes, it looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna start taking off these pegboards for my perler beads, and after that, we're gonna get some parchment paper and start ironing this fish lady. Alright, so now that Undyne is flipped and all the beads seem to stick to the tape really nicely, what I'm gonna do next is take my parchment paper that I've already pre-cut, lay that on top of, try that again, lay that on top of a good fish lady friend, and as I start to iron on top of the beads, I mentioned this before, but they start to curl up sometimes, and I've done some other things to stop it from curling up, but what I found worked really nicely, is getting a big book like Hyrostoria or the complete works of Salvador Dali, and just laying it on top of the perler beads as they cool down, because they don't warp if you have something heavy on top of them. They just dry flat, which is really nice. This is what I want. So I'm going to do that. If you're wondering why is Gluglor putting books on top of Undyne, I have a reason. I haven't lost my mind completely. So I'm going to start to iron now. You know, I didn't really think of it until now, but Undyne's hair reminds me a lot of Dixie Kong's hair. I wonder if she can, like, fall gracefully like Dixie Kong can. Maybe Undyne's hair is a wig. I don't think fish can grow hair. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, so I'm going to let Undyne cool down. I got all these books on top of her, making sure she's not going anywhere. While I let that happen, I'm going to show something else now. Here's a quick time-lapse video of me starting to finish up Undyne. I started by making the spear and all the white parts, and now I'm just finishing filling up everything with black. Alright, so I think the fish has cooled down, so I'm going to start to take off these books. See if anything curled too much. Take off this one, and this one, and this one. Yep, Undyne is feeling pretty cooled down. So, it looks like all the beads are ironed down, which is always a good thing. So now, what I'm going to do is carefully flip this over. Yeah. And now I'm going to start peeling off this tape and see how the final thing looks. Alright, so it looks like everything is in one piece. Yep, even the hair. So, next step, I'm going to get my black painted canvas, kind of like, again, what I did for Papyrus over here. And I'm going to glue that down onto Undyne. I'm going to go get that now. Alright, so I just finished gluing down Undyne onto my black painted canvas using E6000 glue. This stuff is pretty intense, so if you want something to stay, use E6000 glue. Usually I'd say this video is done, but since we do have a glow-in-the-dark spear, I want to show you how that looks. So I'm going to go to a dark room. Ooh. You might be wondering, hey Gluglor, what are you doing? I'm actually recharging the glow-in-the-dark perler beads, because they weren't coming up too brightly on the camera. So the way you do that is if you take a light like this, and you shine it down on the glow-in-the-dark parts for a little bit, and that helps recharge anything that's glow-in-the-dark, as far as I know. So anyway, I'm going to push this into my windowless room. Keep this light in here for now so I can see. Close the door. And let's see how it looks in the dark. Yeah, it works.